So I did a thing. I created a different type of soap. So this soap has two different scents to it. It is a spring scent for sure. It is amazing. And so I really wanted to show you how I did it. So of course this is the lye process. So when you're adding the lye to the water, it becomes hot. So make sure you always wear protective gloves, goggles, and long sleeves so you won't burn yourself. You see the flame, I call them the flames, fumes up there. Yeah, you don't want to hurt yourself. You won't burn yourself, okay? All right, so lye water is mixed. And then we are going to go to the oils and butters. Got them all together, got them melting. This is the fun part. There they are melted. It's so pretty, y'all. So pretty and clear. All right, so we melt the butters. Now we have cooled both the oils and butters and the lye. So right now we are adding our honey and vitamin E. Those are the only ingredients I'll probably tell you about that are in there. Of course, you will see it once it launches at the end of May. So, or the beginning of June. All right, so we're just incorporating that in. You have to do that very thorough. The more thorough you stir it, the easier it is once you blend it all together with the immersion blender. And it's also pretty calming, honestly. So, let's finish putting the honey and the vitamin E in. As you can see, I've sped this video up. It is quite a long process, so just be patient. The more patient you are with your soap, the better it will be, the silkier it will be. All right, so now I'm adding the lye. That's already been cooled. They're both cooled down to the same temperature. I usually go about 80 degrees. I strain it to make sure there's no other lye pieces in there. And so I stir it a little bit first. And then I grab the immersion blender and go to town. No, I don't. You have to be careful with over blending, okay? So when you emulsify, you're pretty much making the oils and butters come together. And the moment that they're able to hold their own and it's completely mixed through, then you want to stop, especially if you're adding colors and things like that, okay? So put the immersion blender to the side, and of course I started to get a little too excited, so I got tripped up a little bit. Immersion blender would not stand up in there to save my life. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna grab some foil and I'm gonna just put that down on there like that, as Tab Brown would say. Okay, so so what I did was I took the soap and I divided it, so I had some left white in the main bowl, and as you can see, I am now adding the some in each of these pores, so that way I can do the color and the scent. So I'm going to use 2 scents this time around. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I will when it comes closer to the time to launch them and get them on the website. This I'm getting it done just in time for the June 6th event, the Turtle event in Marion at the Pavilion. So make sure you stop out and see me then. So I'm using 2 colors here. I'm using a peach taffy for 1 scent. It's just beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. And what I do is I put the colors in first. So I put the scents in last because you never know how they're going to accelerate. One did end up accelerating a little bit over the other, but you'll see that here shortly. So I had one color in one and then another color in the other, and what I do is kind of use the spatula to incorporate each color just a little bit, so that way when you hit it with the immersion blender, you don't blend it to death. You have to be really, really careful here to not overblend, because if you overblend, you could accelerate trace, meaning it gets thicker much faster. And I actually did that with this one, the second one right there. Now that I'm mixing, you'll see here it's going to get thick a little bit quicker than I'd like, but I was still able to get it into the mold. So that's just me incorporating the scents and the mica together before I give it another quick few spurts of immersion blend. It just helps it to incorporate quicker, so that way I don't have to use the immersion blender as much. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the immersion blender and we're gonna go ahead and zoom these babies. All right, so yes, I love the matte mica. Matte micas are the only skin safe colors that I use. I have tried quite a few, and Mad Mica was just the winner. So I'm immersing both now, just enough to incorporate the mica powder. Okay, the sand, of course, is going to incorporate and mix it easily. The mica powder, you just want to make sure just to blend it just enough so that there's no more like clumps or anything like that. That's all. That's it. It doesn't need much. Okay. So now I'm going to set these aside. And then I just left the remainder in the silver bowl, which is white. Okay, so I stir that up a little bit, and I'm also going to blend this one just a little bit so that it is at least to a light trace like the other ones are, because you want to mix each bowl or container about the same, so that way you don't have, like I said, you have one that's super thick and the other one that is super thin. And of course you can still do it that way. I learned to kind of be able to maneuver through that, which you'll see in this video. So I blended it just a little bit, just to get it to a light trace. So alright, so I did it in layers. So what I did was I did a little bit of the white soap, and then I took my colors. This is where it gets tricky, because this is the first time that I had set my camera up, and I didn't set it up like I wanted it to, and so as you can see, I've hit it a few times. So, okay, so what I did was just integrate the colors, all right, or the scents. So there's a peach rum right there, and then there's an orange right there. As you can see, the orange is already starting to thicken up a little bit, but that's okay. And then I do another layer here. And this is when it gets fun. All right, so then I do the peach again, and then you will see the orange. I'm starting to make a little bit of a mess. I get excited, y'all. I get excited. So sometimes I make a little bit of a mess, but it's okay. And as you can see, that orange is getting a little thick. All right, so we want to go ahead and get it in there so that way I can mix it and do some swirls. I wanted to make sure that I was able to do some swirls. So there is the last of the white. And then oh, I can't wait to show you what it looks like. It turned out to be kind of like a dreamsicle. Oh, and my camera falls because I got so excited I knocked it down. So back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right, as you can see, it has become so thick it is almost not pourable. So I had to scoop it into the mold to make sure that I got it in there. All right, so that's the last of the orange, and then the peach, the last of that one. But the swirl ended up absolutely gorgeous, which is cool. You just never know when you mix science and math. Anything can happen. You kind of have to be prepared for anything. So sometimes I get excited and I do a little too much, and as you can see, the camera just yeah. So, but back to our regularly scheduled programming. So you just move on. You know, if you struggle a bit or something happens you didn't expect, you just move on. Go ahead and clean yourself up. Keep it moving, right? Okay, so once we poured all of that, I get my hanker swirl. I get it from like Home Depot or Lowe's. Super easy. I think they're like 99 cents at Walmart. You can get them anywhere, but it's pretty much something that it's soap safe that you can use to blend and mix and create swirls. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm incorporating all three, and the scents are only in the colored one. The peach and the orange, so the white one is unscented. So it's a great blend of all the way around, but it turned out amazing, so I can't wait to cut. I'm definitely going to record the cutting, which I'll be doing here at about 11 Central Standard Time, so I'm excited. All right, and so you know me, I'm trying to do my signature swirl on the top, and so it was still a little bit somewhat liquidy, but not enough to hold. And so I decided to go ahead and just wait for a few minutes to let it set, get a little bit thicker, so that way I can do the swirls on top. So while I wait, why not clean up? I'm a clean as you go kind of girl. I clean as I go. I don't want to have a whole ton thing of dishes and stuff just all over the place. It's just not cute for me. So, so I went ahead and cleaned up. I gave it a little bit of time to kind of thicken just a little bit, so that way I can attempt to do the swirls. And as you can see, The swirls did not go as planned, so what I ended up doing is just trying to do some swirls just to do a textured top. Okay, sometimes this happens, you know what I mean, especially if your batch accelerates. So you just gotta be prepared, you know, always a plan B, C, or D. And for me, so I made this one just more of a textured one, and it still turned out incredible. I'm spraying 90% alcohol on there to avoid soda ash, but look how that blended together. I cannot wait to show